Hi guys, this is a quick introduction to a video we did earlier today. We had a Zoom call with 5 other tutors. It's really just a way to see how we can go forward in this. So it was a bit of a test to see how it all works. And a couple of introductions. It's really nice to talk to these people. It's really good. There is, at the end, a little bit talk about resources, and I show you a couple of good resources that I use. So check it out. Thanks so much.
Let's see, I don't know where Zoom records to. If it records to the computer or it records to the cloud or something, we'll find out.
It records to the computer.
Oh, okay, because I got quite a powerful computer because I keep doing things like this, so I should be fine.
If you want to share it, it will be a bigger file, maybe.
Okay.
So, into a cloud file, then share it.
So my intention is to record it to my computer, then edit it into highlights and post it as a YouTube video in a 10-minute video. So we take a full hour, we just shorten things down. There's not gonna be many highlights today because we're just gonna say hi. We might have a little introduction videos or something, I don't know. It's a lot of work to do, a lot of editing. Okay, so I'm so sorry. My name's David. I wanna know your names and yeah, tell me your names, please. I don't know, you guys, you work it out.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
First?
Yes, you can.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kamna. I'm from India. I also teach maths on.
Cool.
I started recently. It's been about 2 months since I've started. 1 month since I got a student.
Okay, so you're really.
Greatly.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please say that again.
I said it's going greatly so far.
Okay, great. So you're a new teacher. How many classes have you done?
33 hours, I think.
33 hours. All right. This is what I need. I need to talk to people like you because I really want to hear your opinions on how the system is these days and how things are they're different. Because I've been teaching for 3 years on Preply and I've got 7,500 classes done, and I don't remember what it's like to be in a position again. I've forgotten. It's such a long time ago. I do remember kind of like the journey I took between transitioning. I was teaching in real schools in the local area and transitioning onto online. And I made a couple of YouTube videos about my equipment and stuff. I really remember that because I was using like little tablets and really poor quality equipment. And these days I got better stuff because I can reinvest, the profits back into buying better equipment, basically. So yeah, that's really, really cool. So you got 33 classes done, and you've got how many active students do you have right now?
7 of them. I thought they were 7. I think those will be 6 now because one of them is not ready yet. His father said that they will reschedule the class.
Yes. How long did it take you to get your first student?
I think 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that on the forums.
My profile got active, and then after 3 weeks, one of the students.
I see that on the forums like all the time, like, I'm waiting for my first student, all that stuff. I got my first student my first day. I was like, I hooked up to the thing. There was less teachers back then. Now there's 800 math tutors or 900 math tutors. The English section is massive, it's 12,000, but I think it was like 200 or 300. I can't remember. It was a lot less. And the other thing is a geographical location. So you're based in India?
Yes.
Yeah. What about where are your students from?
None from India, actually. 2 are from the US, 1 from Sweden, 1 from Scotland, 1 from Australia.
Okay, great. What level are you teaching? How old are they, basically?
So they are 8th grade and up. One is engineering student.
Okay.
I'm actually eligible to teach colleges, but I'm getting students from school as well. So I'm just accepting right now.
Okay.
I need to build up my profiles.
Yes. Okay. So how many hours are you dedicating to teaching on Preply each week?
All the time. I'm not working otherwise.
Okay.
I think I've made more than 100 hours available in a week.
That's
Oh, wow,
like,
that's a lot.
No,
It's like,
it's just the available hours. It's not how much I work.
Of course, but I'm sure you guys all agree. I mean, that's one of the things for the algorithm. You know, the algorithm, as we can't talk about it, it's in the terms and conditions that we must never try to even guess what it's about. Of course. So we can only suppose, and the crazy thing is, like, especially with a bunch of math tutors, you know, we've got a bunch of mathematicians and electronics engineer or like computer students. You know, we guys are really, really qualified to actually pick something like that apart. Absolutely amazing, right? But obviously, as against we mustn't do anything like this. But one of the things I think it's incredible that our world is so dominated these days by algorithms. I mean, you see it on YouTube and like now yeah, it's crazy, and we're working for it, of course, obviously. And one of the things is availability. That definitely gets you to the top. Before they changed the algorithm, it's changed recently in the last 6 months or something, before you came along. It was much slower. The algorithm didn't change so much. Now it does churn the tutors over quite a lot, and it's much more region dependent. It didn't used to be region dependent. It used to be one tutor. Like, I used to be number one in the math section for a long time. I was number one, number two, and obviously that was pushing me forwards, and there's a lot of motivation to stay up there. And it really was across the whole world, I think, because I got a lot of students from across the whole world. Now it's much more region dependent. When I use proxy servers to see access the website from different locations. So you can see it from Europe, you can see it from the United States, you can see where you are with respect to these countries. And it does change, you know, you get different, your native language dictates or shows you where you are, where you're going to pop up. And also, like I said, geographical location. I'm really interested to talk to you. Sorry, your name is Kamna? Okay, Cam, I'm really interested to talk to you because there's a lot of teachers, a lot of students from India, especially with COVID. The last year, you guys had a really tough time. Everything closed, everything went online, and obviously the population is massive. So there's a lot of really good education there as well. You guys have got a really good universities, and you know, I work with a lot of teachers actually. I work with a lot of other tutors, and a couple of them are from India, and you know, all very knowledgeable, qualified people. What did you study? Did you study university? Tell me about your background, your qualifications.
My master's in mathematics in 2016, I think. And,
a master's? I don't have a master's. You're more qualified than I am. That's great.
I have a master's in mathematics, and there is a certification exam in India called as a National Eligibility Test, which certifies you to teach in colleges. So basically, we need to teach for bachelor's and master's degree students of mathematics. You need either a PhD or this NET net qualification. I have this net qualification, not PhD yet.
Awesome.
I was aiming for college students. That's it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm qualified to teach high school students. I got a PGC, which is a secondary school in England, and that really pays off. Also, I see I'm teaching a lot of young kids, and that really helps me to understand how to explain things to older people, to older students. So really working with lower grades. Kids are more forgiving as well. They're very patient. They're actually very patient. They're also quite difficult. Yeah.
Because I have a hard time teaching.
Okay. It does take a long time.
It takes a very different skill set to teach kids.
Yeah, but like I said.
I have declined a few clients because of this, because a few parents asked me to teach their 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and
I never decline
I have
anybody.
no idea how to do that.
I take every single job available, even stuff I don't know how to do, because you learn from it, or I learn from it. So like I said, I don't have a master's, but I am teaching master's level courses these days because I've forced myself to learn them. So I am teaching.
That's actually a very good advice.
Yeah, it's like because you have to keep ahead of the competition, right? Because you see how competitive the environment is, and if you start turning stuff down now, then other people are going to take those jobs and they're going to overtake you. So even though it's uncomfortable and even though it is difficult, you can give them a massive discount if you like, because there's a learning opportunity for yourself. So if there was something I'm not comfortable with, I've like never taught it before. There's some international exams or some like American exams like GRE. or like SATs or whatever. Like there's some big exams, right? If I've never taught it before, like GMAT, I've never taught GMAT before. These are international exams, or the entrance exams for colleges and universities, and the college level entrance exams, or postgrad master's level exams. If I've never really taught the course before, I'll tell the student, hey, you know, I've taught similar courses like this. I'm really familiar, but I'll be honest about it. Say I've not actually taught that course specifically, but I will give you a big discount on it. I'll give you a half price, see how it goes. And they're fine with that normally. I mean, obviously I have a lot of reputation to back it up on the platform. I got all these classes and all these hours of experience. But I do say to them, I'm going to give you half price. Also, I buy a lot of resources for them. If we're going to be doing something like that course, I say, hey, I'll pay for the resource, and I'll share the passwords with you, and you can use it because I can buy one resource and share it between 5 students, doing that kind of thing. That's something we have to talk about a bit later. About all this other stuff that we can do. There's loads of stuff we can do together, like resource sharing would be awesome. I'd love to do that. Which unfortunately the website doesn't really allow. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say again, Kamna?
That would be great. Resource sharing would be great.
Yeah. I'm a big. They don't really care. What I've seen over the years is that the external websites, like some websites are very strict about it. Some of them really don't care. Like Magoosh, Princeton Review, or was it Prep Princeton?
Yeah, they need
Prep Scholar. So yeah, but I what I do is I pay for that, and I'm quite happy to share it with you guys. We have to get organized, so please don't ask me right now for all the details. But between us, we can build a library of resources, of paid resources, which would be awesome to do, because then what I say to my students is say, if you subscribe to me, you're my student, I'll give you access to all this stuff, and they don't abuse it. They can't, or they don't bother. Like no one really bothers saying, oh yeah, I'll just give it to my 20 friends who all do in the same course, because they don't have them, right? So what happens is we have like 4 people or 5 people using the resource, and the website doesn't care, it doesn't get blocked. If it does get blocked, they just send me an email saying, oh, it looks like your account has been hacked, and I can just reboot it or whatever. I can restart it, but it hasn't happened yet. I do that a lot. I've got some really nice resources for kids, but like I said, we have to talk about it later. Thanks very much. It's really nice. Thanks for explaining your introduction. That's great. So Sasha,
I'll just unmute
one more thing. Yeah.
I'll just mute myself and.
Perfect.
Okay, cheers. Well, hi, I'm Sasha. I'm 48 years old. I'm from Berlin in Germany. So until last year, I was working as a tour guide in Berlin, and then COVID hit, obviously. And by fall, I was kind of looking for another job opportunity. Always wanted to go into an online job, do some kind of digital nomad thing. And then beginning of December, a friend of mine, he recommended me, why don't you teach German? I was like, what? Me? Why? So he already had some experience receiving classes over Preply and italki. So I looked into the thing, and italki at the moment had tutor stop for German language, so I applied for Preply. 6th of December, I made my profile. One day later, I had 2 students, obviously with a rather low price back in the day. And it was quite an insane ride. I think also because of COVID, many people took to online learning. And somehow also in one weekend in January, in one day, I got 10 new students. So I think it was a combination of COVID situation, and also people had like a New Year's resolution to start learning or improving their German. Funny enough, I thought I would have more international students. I do, but I thought they would live abroad, but the majority already live in Germany, Austria, or Switzerland. And also many of them, they already live there for many years already, and already work in a German-speaking environment, but now they want to improve their job, or they're preparing for an exam, so they need or want to improve their German. Also, the thing is, what I found out, it paid out for me, paid off to cover like a niche market. So my students, they want to learn business German. So that's one thing I figured out for myself, not to cover everything, not to teach from total beginner to advanced, but to have a rather narrow niche segment. And after several weeks, I also stumbled upon your videos, David, And for me, it was super helpful to improve my ranking or improve my profile, etc. I'm still a bit adamant to improve my video because I kind of feel a bit ashamed to videotape myself. But I understand if you have a better video, you get better acceptance. Yeah.
With the video, just do it 3 times. Like the first video is going to be bad, the second time will be okay,
true.
and you just say the same stuff and make it eventually comes off as natural. But the first time it'll be awkward.
Yeah. So to speak, at the beginning, I had a really good start. I had many classes. I drove my price up. I over doubled my price the next 6 months. July, August was very slow compared to the other months. So the month before I taught like 20, 30 classes a week. And now it's down to 10 maybe.
All right.
But then also I had shortened my teaching hours because I came back to Berlin and was doing my tourism job during the day. So I was teaching in the mornings, doing my tourism job in the afternoon, in the morning, afternoon, and then teaching again in the evening. But now in fall, I decided to quit my other job and go back to teaching. So far between italki and Preply is my main income. In Preply, I've logged over 700 hours, italki like 70.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much. It's really very good details, in depth. How long? Remind me again. How long have you been on Preply? For 1 year?
I started beginning of December last year, so not 1 year. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. And how much are you charging now? What's your current price?
Between $25 and $40 an hour.
Oh wow! I was on $10. My initial price was $10. I started at $10, and compared to where I live in South America. I live in Argentina, and compared to I was working in a local school, they were paying me $3 an hour, and now going up to $10 is like a massive improvement. So I see this a lot on Preply, and you talk about digital nomad. I see people living in different countries, and they're leveraging. I really went into this because I heard about things like was it Tony Robbins or something, like the 4-hour work week. Like somebody said something about you can live in a country that has a low economy and you can earn US wages or something. So I kind of got into that idea, and I realized, I can go into this full time. I was charging $10. I have to mute the microphone.
Personally, I started with 15. So I had my first few customers for 15. Obviously, when you're still at 33% commission, then $15 leaves you with almost nothing. Not almost nothing, but in Europe it's
of course,
very menial salary. So I bumped it up to 19, and then when this 10 students a day came in, I was at $19, and then I cranked it up because over the teacher forum on Facebook, I contacted a couple of tutors and asked them for advice, how to improve my profile and how to handle the pricing situation. So I got this advice to bump up my price if I get a lot of bookings. So I did so And also I figured out that in spring, people were willing for business German even to pay more than $35 an hour. So fine for me. Yeah.
My question is your students, your clients, you said they're people living in Germany and they've been there for a while and they want to bump up their skill set. So are they immigrants? They're foreigners living in Germany? Or they natives?
Yeah, they're all foreigners.
Yeah, of course.
No.
I
have funny enough, sometimes I get natives, so like native Germans who have lived abroad for many years and want to just get a talking practice. But 99% is from abroad. Yeah.
Okay. And you said you specialize in business German, which is really interesting. Why business German? Why that?
Because I feel this is one of the fields I can give back the most. Because I've kind of a business background. I have a bachelor's in international business and worked in the field in Germany and internationally. So I thought, it would be fun to handle this kind of topic. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going after, really, because I teach English here in Argentina because I'm the only native English speaker around for hundreds of miles. So I got a lot of business here as well, and I can specialize in the mathematical, or I work with a lot of engineers. I work with a tea company here. They do a lot of exportation to Europe and United States. And also there's citrus as well, and also tobacco as well. They produce all that stuff here. So they're looking for industrial style math, English or chemical processes and accountants and things like that. So yeah, I can totally understand that. How many teachers are there in the German section on Preply?
When I started off, it was like 550 more or less, and now it's almost 900.
Okay, fantastic.
And when I started off, the business German section were like 90, 95, and now they're up to 170.
Okay, I'm really interested in further specializations in those fields because I think, especially for English tutors, because the English tutor section, and this is something that Preply is not providing or doing anything about right now. There's no way to, not right now, maybe they do it in the future, but there's no way to further specialize into your niche market because, as you know, if you've been there for a while, you start to find more niches, or you start to find you have to be there for a long time and search for them to find them. And then now these days, I'm finding like everywhere I look, I can find a niche. It's great. I don't have the time to work in them, unfortunately. But they're very, very difficult and very, how do you say, very, very difficult to even describe, to tell another person about them. But there's lots and lots of things about. For example, my father, he's retired. He's 65 years old. He speaks native English. I would love to get him a job on Preply, get him a profile. He is a retired mechanic. Does a bit of industrial workshop kind of jobs. Basically, he can rebuild an engine, and I'd love to get him doing English classes from the workshop. Right now he's teaching English like this. He's teaching for my students here in Argentina. He's doing about 10 hours a week, so he's got some experience. But I want to get him to do a niche market, and the niche market will be we do classes live from the workshop. Because nobody's doing like mechanics or mechanical engineering, or not mechanical engineering, just mechanics classes. And I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of students who want to do stuff like that, even if it's just like a tourist, just that they come in, they have 5 classes, just to have some practical hands-on English classes. So the idea of this thing is I'm going to take a webcam and stick it to his forehead, probably in a hat, right? So he can film what he's looking at, because he already does this. He already does YouTube videos with glasses that have a camera in them, but we can't hook that up to a live webcam. But we can hook up a hat with a webcam attached to it, and a headset just like this. He's using one of these, a Logitech headset. It's very good. And we attach it all through cables, and then you can do live stuff in the workshop, just to leverage that niche market, like as you were talking about, as you were saying. So that's what I'm interested to see about the business side of it, the business German. That's interesting. All right. What other questions? I should have a list of questions to ask you. Yeah. So now, are you working? So are you thinking about going into full time, or are you still half and half between jobs?
No, I went to full-time teaching, or full-time tutoring. Because I also wanted to, let's say, move away from Berlin, which I do next week. Last winter, I spent the lockdown in Portugal. That's also why this tutoring job unfortunately came up. So I'm going back to Portugal and do full-time teaching. Yeah.
Wow. Do you get many recommendations from other students? Do you get word of mouth recommendations?
Not really. So far, I have not had one student who had said he's coming through somebody else.
Yeah, I get that quite a lot. I mean, I've been around for longer. I've been around for 3 years. And so I do get quite a lot of people who contact me off the platform through direct contact, because the first thing I do on Preply is I give out my contact details straight away, which Preply say don't do that because it's dangerous, or you don't want your students calling you up at midnight. But if you have run any tutoring businesses outside or before this, contact is a key. I mean, you have to get, how can people call you up? So this is one thing I do see that's really, really useful as well, or how you make a successful tutor, is that people who have previous experience, either working in tutoring schools or running their own businesses, because basically you are running your own business here. So if you want to get ahead, you want to bump yourself up, you've got to get some hands-on experience doing that. The other thing also to be very successful as a tutor online is to have to actually be a teacher. I don't know so much for the language skills, the language set. Sasha, do you prepare people for exams, or you do generally conversation classes? Or
I had a lady
Are you
I think she
familiar?
was.
What I'm trying to ask is, are you familiar with the academic side of it? If I said like, oh, I need to speak German to a certain level, like the common European framework,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
A1, A2, B1, B2,
No,
all that stuff.
I'm kind of familiar, but I don't know too much about it. But currently, I'm studying a teaching certificate from like Goethe Society. So I hope to finish this until March next year to have a universally recognized qualification to offer. But like the teaching side is not so much my focus. My focus is more on being a cheerleader for the learning efforts of my student. Also, that's what I say directly on my profile, also within the trial lesson, that I'm not so much of a teacher and also cannot help them so much with their grammar, but rather like to get them speaking as much as they can. Yeah.
Okay, I completely agree with you. Also, I really think that's a good idea because you are focusing on what you think is good and what you see to be successful, rather than trying to follow the model. You're breaking out and you're doing what you, like I said, you're taking you're adapting to the situation. You say, oh, I think this is good. People like it, and you follow it through. So I just saw the meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. I have to reboot it, but we'll just come back in a second. I'll do that in 5 minutes. I got another question for you, Sasha. What about resources?
That's a good question. I found the majority of my resources online, and I purchased two books for business German.
Okay. What kind of
online.
resources do you use in a regular class?
All of them are web-based, like newspaper articles, but also articles from language learning resources. But the majority is already like news-focused or business-focused.
Okay.
Like,
do you find
public domains?
Do you find the resources are good enough, or do you find them boring? Are you frustrated with them, or are they there's loads and loads and loads and you can't get around to using them all?
I would rather say that depends a lot on the students. Some of them are more passive, which I learned from, for example, Slavic countries, especially from Russia. They're a bit more passive, but there's people from other parts of the world are kind of more proactive. I guess in this sense, it's in my case more like a typical conversation. You meet people on the street with whom you click and you have a good conversation. With other people, you have to dig more and find their soft spot or their interests, and then you get the conversation going.
Yeah. You gotta ask them. You gotta find where their passion's at.
Exactly.
What they're really passionate about, and some people are quite closed. Obviously, we're all protective of it, but once you can get into that, that's it. Yeah, I spend a lot of time as an English tutor, as a language tutor. I stopped using books. I threw the book away, and it gave me a lot more freedom to really focus on the individual, and you teach them individually. I mean, my approach to education is like cooking. So I want to make you food that you like, and that's made just for you, not just generally just like made for everybody, because it doesn't taste very good. Okay, I just realized we got gone.
1 second to interrupt you. Yeah, the books I just use sparsely, and also for few people, maybe just 1% of the people, they want to use a book or follow kind of exercises. But I also have kind of a exercise generator which I use. But basically, I use like everyday news or articles or websites.
Do you teach any kids?
I did, but then I bumped up my price, and the father didn't want to go along with the price increase. So
I see that as well.
It was a good learning experience, but it's also pretty stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, there were a sister and brother, and the first class they had together, and it was really a nightmare. So I decided to split it up, half an hour for the girl, half an hour for the boy, because I noticed that with each of them, after half an hour, concentration drops dramatically. Yeah. So 1 hour for both of them together was basically not feasible.
Okay, I'll make a different. We'll do a whole another chat about this, but about resources and ones for kids, for university students, and for adults. I got a lot of resources for kids. It involves a lot more games, a lot more interactive resources. The students really have to do stuff rather than they don't have a passive conversation, like you say, or like even a conversation that you can't really have like the kids. They really have to do stuff. But I've got a lot of resources that are really good for that. Not sure about German though, but
I think there's lots of resources out there you can use. You don't have to purchase anything, but it depends if people are interested in teaching kids. Or
what I really do is I build resources. This is why I'm asking so much about it, is because through my teaching experience, I found there's not enough available, and this is why I'm asking if you're satisfied with them, because there's a couple of resource websites for maths and for high school level, and they're okay, and obviously I like to just make them better, but I think if we get enough of us together, we get enough tutors together, we can invest the time and the effort into making them. And I'd love to make a free resource that we have access to. That'd be really, really cool. And it's basically what I'm doing. I spent the last year doing this for maths. I had never thought about German, if I'm honest. Okay, I'm so sorry. We got to talk to some other people. We're going to get everyone in here. Also, I'm so sorry, guys. I got to reboot the meeting because I didn't pay for Zoom, because why would you pay for Zoom? So I'll see you in 2 seconds. I'm just going to close the meeting and come back in again, please. See you in a sec.
Cheers.
Okay, so I'm going to have, I'm sorry, I just started recording it. I'm going to have to do another, I guess, I don't know. We have to share our resources, see what's available, because the reason why I'm doing these meetings with you guys is so we can get feedback, we can share it in one place. I might move this whole thing. Oh my goodness. I might move this whole thing onto another platform, something like YouTube or Twitch, and I might stream onto that because actually this might be a better thing than using Zoom, and we might be able to have more people involved, or we might be able to have one person at a time coming in and talking to each person one at a time. And I can do interviews with you. That would be really cool to do, like a one-person conversation, and maybe we have a list that I pick people out one by one. That might be a good way to broadcast it. Okay, so as far as resources go, like I said, there's you're gonna find them. It took me a year or a year and a half to find all my resources, and I basically asked my students for them. Students are a great source of information, so ask them what do they use, where do they get them from. But I use about 3 or 4 of really solid resources every day. One of the things I like to show you guys is, I don't know, how do you guys teach on a daily basis? Because I use iDrew. I use a whiteboard called idrew.com, and it's really, really good. I know there's a lot of different whiteboards out there. I know Preply has its own whiteboard, which I've never used. I've never used Preply Space. I'm so sorry. Since I started 3 years ago, it was too glitchy. Also, it's web-based, it's browser-based, which means it's really difficult for my students to use, because even though my computer's fine, their computer can't handle it. Most of the kids I'm teaching, you know, they're using Chromebooks or they're using iPads, and they're using old iPads, and they can't handle doing 3 things at once. So I never use that guy. But as far as the, like, let me show you, I can do a share screen. My desktop is converting the last meeting we just had. So let's see if that works. And then I'm using, let's see what I'm using. I use iDrew every day, which I basically live on here. This keeps all my organization, right? And one of my students told me about this. It's, I don't know where it's based. I think it's Ukrainian, I think. And basically you make a new board for every student. So I can create a new board, and then I just stopped finishing. I just finished teaching Benji, for example. Let's have a look at his whiteboard. I'm sure he won't mind. It'll be fine. Can you see this okay? Can you give me a nod if it's okay? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm teaching mathematics. So my student has drawn a little picture there, which is very nice. Okay. So then I'm using, this is what I'm talking about, resources, because we're using PDFs, which are, I just finished, that's nice, okay. We're using PDFs, which I drag and drop onto the whiteboard. So you can see them here. Now, this is the difference between this whiteboard and other ones, is that this thing is massive, it's huge. Can you see how big it is? It just, right? So what the great thing about this this was a total explanation to with maths. I did not assassinate somebody. Sorry, it was necessary to explain how to do reverse percentages. It made sense at the time. The good thing about this thing is absolutely massive. So the student logs in and I log in simultaneously. You can see they're still logged in actually, like, oh, I'm logged in on another browser, on another window. And so this is my student's writing. And then this is mine. I'm writing here in blue, for example. You can change the color and stuff. But the good thing is it stays up after the class. So the student can access it after the class. So it's a great way to make your classes available after you're done. So what I would do for English, I taught a lot of English on here as well. It's really used by language tutors as well. My father teaches English on this thing. And so I got loads and loads of like maths on here. You can see we do science and stuff as well. But let's look at English. Let's see, my daughter's learning on here with my father in English and stuff like that. So they go find Matilda's board. So I run a bit of a business doing this as well, because what I'm doing basically is I take inexperienced tutors, like my father, for example. He needs a bit of help to teach, and we build the resources on here. So we've got like flashcards. This is really cool because this is like real life flashcards, right? So there's a flashcard. I can move it around just like you can on a table. So what I say to my students is I say, we're going to have a face-to-face conversation like we're doing right now, like, you know, over the Skype or over Zoom. And then we're going to use iDrew, this whiteboard, as a table to work on, just like you would do in real life. So it's really, really simple to use. It's like using Microsoft Paint, you know, like that old-fashioned program where everything's really basic, but it does have some very complex features and very interesting features. It's all very easy to use, and the students pick it up. Kids do it instantly, especially children on iPads, because it's all interactive. You can just move the screen around like you would expect it to be as touch screen. So let me show you, this is a game that we've played. It's matching pairs, it's matching pair games. And the idea is to teach basic vocabulary, but I'll show you one that's not made, one that's hasn't been played yet. That's been played. So what I did was, with my students, with my assistant, sorry, I have my assistant who's an ex-student of mine. He helped me make this. So what we do is we take, this is Cambridge resources for teaching English, right? So you take your resources that you have for teaching English, and you have, or for language, for example, you need to teach vocabulary. So we got all this vocabulary here, and the students can move it around. So you match them together is the idea. So like there's computer, and here's, where's computer got? Oh, computer, and you put them together as an introduction to the vocabulary. Let me put that back because I need it to be neat and tidy. Then we play a game. So here's how the game works, is I copy this whole thing onto a whiteboard. There's 2 games, there's 3 games, there's 4 games, there's 5 games. This is like a class or 2 classes each, right? So that's about 5 classes there. I copy and paste it on, and then I'll just edit it a little bit. I need to be prepared. So I prepare the game like this, and then my student will log in on another account on their computer, and we'll play match the pair game. So like pen and pencil is no good. And then they'll take a turn and do hockey and clothes, and it's no good. The idea is to speak very, very basic vocabulary. The idea is to get people from zero, because I found teaching language from zero was very, very difficult.
I agree.
Yeah, because how do you get started? Once they're conversational, it's okay. So we make the resources basically for the book. The book says chapter 8. This is I don't know, that was unit 7. So unit 7, you need to know this vocabulary. So we do this, we do repetition, we do another game, more repetition, basically speaking and listening. So you have to say the words each time and you're reading it. Then we do some tests. My students speak a bit of Spanish. So can you write this? And you can click and type. So they say ruler or tick or pencil. Oh, in Spanish that's lápiz. So they can write out like this in Spanish or in their own native language to make sure the translation is correct. And there's another one here. Then we do the pictures. So I say, how do you say this in English? And they have to write it in English in the target language. So you have to write out, football, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. And you can see this is what my daughter has been doing. They've been playing a game, and the game makes a lot of fun. I developed this in my school over many years, over 5 or 6 years, the techniques I'm using here, and it just goes straight online. So I'm really, really interested in making these kind of resources for us to use. You can see I can just copy and paste the resource to another board. There's a lot of organization involved, a lot of structure, a lot of business involved as far as administration goes, because I have to make it and then give it to somebody, send it out, and all that stuff. But this was a game changer for me, this website. That's as far as English or language goes, but just teaching mathematics on it, or teaching. I download the PDFs from other websites, and then we will go through, here's the curriculum. I copied out the curriculum, and then we'll do year 4, so that's primary school. And then we'll start here on multiples, and the students will complete it. You can see this is the students writing, and this is my writing. And like I said, it's accessible after class. So you can even download it as a PDF and send it to your student. Either your student can access it directly from the website. It's not locked, so they can log in anytime. It's free for them. It doesn't cost them anything. And they can make a student profile. A student profile is so easy to make. I'll make one right now for you. You go to idrew.com, and then let's do create an account, sign up for free. Your name is, let's make your name, Kamna, right? And then your email is a fake email because it doesn't check it, right? That's not very good to say to the students because it's not very reliable, but okay, they can log in using Google or Facebook or whatever. My password is going to be idrew, so it's very easy to remember. Okay, and then this is now your account. And what I do is I'll make you a whiteboard on mine. So let's make you a new board. And I guess I should change it and send it to you guys in the group so you guys can log in to see if this works. We can all log in together. That'd be really cool. Yes,
that should be good.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it right now. I'll make a test. So this is the test board. Kamna, I'm gonna have to change yours a little bit. So I'm gonna log out. Let's make another one. So we'll call this make a sign up for free. This is test. You guys can make your own is what I'm saying. Oops, 1 second. Test, and then we're gonna call it test123@gmail.com. Password is idrew, is IDROO lowercase. And then I'm gonna create an account. Already exists. Someone's already made it. Let's make another one. Zoom call IDROO. Okay, so here in Zoom chat, if I can find Zoom chat, I gotta stop sharing. In Zoom chat, here is the ID login. The password, if you can find it in Zoom chat, is idrew. And you should be able to log into this account. And you should see on the dashboard, lots of people can use the same account. There's no problem. It doesn't glitch or block or anything like that. You should be able to log in using that account. It's zoomcall@gmail.com.
One question, David.
Yes.
But that will be not a premium. We have to buy for ourselves.
So
if we want to.
I've got 2 accounts. I've got a premium, I've got the most expensive one, and then I've got a standard account as well. And I use the standard account to lend to my students because sometimes what they want to do is they want to post images. It's the only thing you can't do is post images without the premium account. So you can do all the writing and drawing and all this other stuff on it, no problem. What I can do with a premium account is I can make resources for you. I can get the images on there and then you can manipulate them. It's not very good like this. It's much better you actually pay for it. It costs $10 a month for the premium. It's totally worth the investment because you can drag PDFs. What my students do is they take a photo of their homework. I say, let's do your homework together because the conversation we have while doing your homework is really beneficial. So they take their cell phone, they take a photo using WhatsApp of their homework, they send it to me, I drag it onto the page, and then we work on their homework live on the whiteboard, and then after the class, they just copy it down. Doing homework it sucks. I mean, you guys know what homework's like. It doesn't really, in my educational opinion, as my professional opinion, it doesn't benefit the student doing homework by themselves. What does benefit the student is the conversation we have while doing it. So we have a very rich conversation about how to do this. What do you think about that? And I make sure they're learning it. We're not just doing the homework for them. We're not cheating, but we're making this dead activity into a much richer activity, which is really, really useful. And it's so quick, the kids get it. They're just like, snap, send it to me either on Skype or on Zoom or on WhatsApp or email, anything. And what it means is that the parents are happy because their kids are getting their homework done. They don't have to sit down with them afterwards. It means that the children are less stressed because it means they don't have to do double work, because otherwise I give them work and then they have homework and they have schoolwork, and their kids are too overworked as it is in school in most countries. Some countries it's not like that, but most countries it is. And of course they can say, oh, I need to do this for a test, for example, and we can go through prep work. They can send it to me very quickly. I just drag it onto the board and we can go straight into it. I have, like I said, a second account that I can give to you guys. You guys can use the password for it. You can log in to try it out if you want. Basically, there's a few limitations because if we share it between people, but I've used it for many years between lots of people, and it's absolutely fine. You're gonna have to learn how to navigate a little bit if you guys are just logging in. But this thing is magic, especially for students, but like for teaching languages as well. But again, it gets you into that level of 0, or you can do photos from Google Images, drag it on and talk about stuff. Another thing I do for teaching languages is I buy an account with Shutterstock. I buy stock images, and it allows me to do very high quality, because Google doesn't have high quality images anymore. It allows me to do very high quality industrial photos, for example. Right? So what I do is I take industrial photos of a factory and I can walk you around it. You can't take photos of a regular factory because normally they have trade secrets, but you can take high quality photos from industrial settings and then talk about individual parts of machinery, which is like very, very interesting. But I do this for homework. This is really cool. I can see a couple of guys logged in. So you can see how it's working live. I can't do massive groups on this because again, there's a few limitations. It's susceptible to people drawing strange things. So I'm not going to leave. Oh no, we crashed the website. No, we crashed it. I just, yeah, that's never happened. Like these days, there we go. It's maybe a little bit better. It's a little bit unreliable as a website. So I like to make another one. I like to clone it and make a better one. There's like so much stuff that we do as tutors that over the years, especially if you guys are just starting out. Mazhar, I know you're just starting, and Kamna as well, I know you're just starting. So what I'd really like to do is, like, you know, in like a year or like 2 years time, if you guys are still here, still working in this, your experience is going to be massive. And then the thing is, what I'm doing working on Preply right now, and I need to talk to other tutors from other platforms as well to see how they feel. I need to talk to, there's no other math platforms really. The reason why I'm a Preply is because if you look to the other websites, they're really bad. They charge you per conversation you have with people. Like when you're chatting to new clients, it's like you have to pay $1 every time you talk to somebody. It's like, that doesn't work, right? It's ridiculous. But I need to talk to other platforms to see how they're doing it and how they feel about it. But what I feel after 1 year or 2 years is that I feel like I'm constricted. There's no more space to go. When you're starting, it's great. You know, you feel fine. There's like lots of stuff is all going on. You're earning money at home. It's really, really good. But I've got lots and lots of ideas, lots and lots of things I want to do, but there's no space to do them in. This is why we're doing this. because like, where do we go after you've been there for a year? Where do you go, or 2 years? Where do you go after that? And I'm trying to build a space that we can go into as very experienced tutors, that has a lot more freedoms on it, a lot more to give us more control over it, because I don't know where to go after this, or what to do. Like I said, there's lots of things I like to do. Like, this website is good, but it has some problems. Like the iDrew website is okay, but it has some issues with like glitches and things. Can we fix them? If I get, some programmers together, can they fix it? I don't know. So it's something I'd like to work on. And it's something that, this is, as I said to you, Kamna, about doing things, learning new topics, and you have to always be working forwards, because like I said, it's a very competitive environment. I would love to do, and Sasha, this would interest you, I would love to do stuff like virtual reality classes, like headset classes. Like you get, like, there's not many people who can afford that, but then the few people who can are willing to pay for it. Obviously you need to have a very powerful computer, but especially for mathematics, to do three-dimensional maths would be different. Everything I'm doing is 2D. I'm using a whiteboard on a computer, and it's just like, why? It's like we use pencil and paper in school, and we could be using technology. Doing things like walks through Google Earth or Google Maps is very interesting, of course, but that'd be even better as a, I don't know, a virtual reality chat or something, like really immersive environments. That was what I was really working toward. I started doing that this year. At the start of this year, my New Year's resolution was to get virtual reality classes online for this year. But I don't think there's enough clients on it. I don't think there's enough people who have that kind of technology or the money to buy it. It's kind of a selling point to kids, because I can say, hi guys.
I can imagine, because currently I'm just teaching a student from Hong Kong, and he is learning 3D shapes, and it's really difficult. I mean,
well, there's stuff.
Tell him how the plane of reflection goes through the cube. So
I'm
just using these things, whatever I have. So this. Can you imagine this going through the cube?
Yeah. There is graphing software like graphing software like GeoGebra, but it's clunky, it's clumsy, it's difficult to use. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I got to stop. My next student's calling me. I'll see you later. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming. It's really good. Thanks for giving me details. I'm sorry, Amina, we didn't get time to talk to you, but we'll be in contact. Thanks so much. Bye bye. Thank you. See you next time.
David. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Have a good one.